Time to paint roses again. From the reference photo to my sketch and the link where you can post your painting, please refer to the link in the description of this video. Let's start with a sketch. I usually sketch freehand, but for those who find the sketching part a bit challenging, here's a hack for you. Print out the reference photo the same size that you want it painted, mark the edges of the paper, and draw your reference points. Think of making a connect the dots drawing. Mark as many reference points as you need and then connect these dots by observing the reference photo. I'll work on my background first with wet on wet technique, and it should look like this. I'm using my favorite combination of ultramarine blue plus burnt umber or blue plus brown for this neutral shadow color. You may also add violet if you want to, or use your go-to neutral colors. Oh, and I would like to remind you that I'm just showing how I did this painting, and our goal here is to learn. So don't try to replicate this painting, but I do encourage you to apply what you've observed and paint this rose in your own style. Or just join the fun and paint along. Even I cannot replicate my own painting since I'm still learning too. I just really love to teach, hence the series of these free floral workshops. I'm Bianca, by the way, in case this is the first time we're meeting. Right. Once done with the background, I'll add the color of my rose. I'm using quinacridone rose. The reference photo has a bright red rose, but I'm sort of afraid of that color, so I'm going for pink. Please feel free to use any color that you have on your palette, and I want you to own this painting. This is still wet, so I'll lift some parts that needs to be lighter. Observe the reference photo, which is, by the way, from unsplash.com, to help you decide where to lift those pigments. Then I'll paint the lines that separate the petals from each other and soften the edges for a smoother transition. You'll see me doing this process over and over again, coloring the rose, lifting up the highlights, and darkening the separation of the petals. Next up, let's do the leaves. I mixed green plus blue here because I don't like the green that I have on my palette, the original color, and then just paint the leaves directly. While still wet, you'll see me lifting up the shape of the veins for contrast and even drop darker colors on some parts. You can mix green with other colors like blue, violet, pink, or brown for the darker tone. My rose is looking pale now that I've added darker colors around it. So I'll retouch it with the same color I used earlier, lift the highlights again, and darken the lines separating the petals. You see, this is my style. I love working on my painting slowly by adding thin layers of colors. But your style might be different from mine, and you might prefer working with less layers and bolder colors. And if that's the case, then I'll encourage you to do it. There's more than one way to approach this painting. Time to darken again the shadows in the background. Watercolor dries lighter, so I need to add more layers and darken those beautiful shadow shapes. Before you do this, please observe your own painting and judge whether or not you need to add another layer. Right, time to add our final details. In this part, I'll glaze my background and my rose once more. I am really looking forward to seeing your version of this painting. Not only does it motivate me to continue these weekly free paint along sessions, but it also encourages others, our fellow watercolor lovers, to keep on painting and improving the talent that was given to us. lift some details, but this time I'm using a magic sponge or a melamine foam that I got from a local thrift shop here in the Philippines. You don't need this. You can use a brush like what I've shown earlier if you wanted to lift some paint. And add those tiny nuances that make this painting just a bit complicated, like the stem, the veins, and more details on the flower itself. Again, please check the link for more details and I'll see you on our next painting session. Cheers! Bye-bye!